You guys, how are you? Huh? Hope you're well. I'm doing good. It's Jax, here for another little video action. Another little moment of time with you guys. Huh? Oh, let's see, what's new? What's new? My hairstyle. I know you probably don't care about this, unless some of you secretly aspire to be hairstylists. See, we're doing the bunnage plus the flow. And the reason why is because as we get into fall, we got to keep our necks warm. Still got to keep the hair out of my eyes because it gets more windy this time of year. So I have to be able to cut through and see where I'm going. Okay, enough of that. Anyway, all right, so today's video, I'm going to share something with you guys. I'll just be honest with you. Let's be upfront because the channel's starting to grow. It's getting to be a pretty good size. And I'm starting to get inquiries, depends where you're from. Oh, companies wanting you to market their products, okay? And that's just a thing, you know, obviously, you know, you see that on YouTube, you see ads all the time in the videos and things from YouTube. That's just part of the deal. But you actually have individual companies reach out and say, hey, we have this product that, you know, would maybe like you to market. And I'm gonna give you my best pledge, okay? My Jackson pledge. And that is that I'm not gonna bring you guys anything. I am gonna market some things. Undoubtedly, there'll be things that I wanna share with you. As we go and we grow and I spend more time trying to do these and produce and make these videos, there's opportunities, of course, to market and to make some money, which helps us be able to spend more time making videos rather than more time trucking. But I'm gonna try to make sure that what I share with you guys always will have some value to somebody in the audience. I'm not gonna do something that's silly or that doesn't make sense or something that I'm not really a fan of. Let me tell you what I mean. Some companies will email and they will say, we wanna send you this product for free. And you're like, ooh, free things. I am so frugal that free things, I'm like, yeah. But they say, we want you to put out a video within a week of receiving it. And I'm not comfortable with that because one, you know that I can't get a video put out that quick. But seriously, I can't tell in a week if something is worth your time, okay? Because it's your time. You're taking the time to watch it and consume whatever these products may be. And those outfits, I'm not interested in that. I'm like, you want to send me something that's pertinent to what we do? Is that the right word? Oof, that might have been the wrong word to use. Anyway, you want to send me something that really applies to the jobs that we do? Give me some time with it. Give me some time to take it out, to run it, to wear it, to try it for some weeks. And if it's working good and it's something that I find value in, I'm happy to share that with you guys because we all love value. You should seek for value in all that you do, and all that you purchase or whatever. So I want to tell you guys about a situation that I have. And this is funny. This is a good example of me getting a marketing inquiry. I'm wiry. I got an inquiry from a company that has a product that would actually really help me if it's good. If it's bad, it'll be frustrating. I've tried one of these kind of products before and it wasn't good. Let me tell you something real quick, okay? And then I'll show you what this is. In a nutshell, I run a trucking company, okay? I've got cattle trailers out on the road. Got a lot of trucks floating around, floating about. And I also truck, okay? I don't sit in the office and do phone calls and dispatch and all that. I do that all from in here, okay? So as I'm rolling down the road, I'm taking calls. In a really busy week, we can do anywhere from 20 to 25 loads of cattle from Montana clear out to the Midwest. And so that's a lot of stuff that needs to happen. And it all happens right inside here, okay, as I'm rolling along. So as you can imagine, I spend a lot of time on the phone. Let me just walk you through this. Give you an example. Cattle buyer calls.
Hey, you got any trucks that could load tonight?
I respond with,
Let me let you know.
hang up, call one of my trucks.
Hey, where you at?
Oh, I'm such and such place.
That's not quite close enough. Let me try someone else.
Call another one of the trucks.
Hey, where you at?
Oh, I'm getting pretty close to where I need to be, back into Montana.
Oh, hey, I'm gonna have a load for you tonight, or first thing in the morning.
Sounds good.
Okay, I'll call you back and let you know. Hey, cattle buyer, I found a truck. I can get you a truck tonight.
He goes, okay, I'll let you know how it shakes.
In the meantime, that trucker probably calls back.
Hey, did you find a load yet?
I'm working on it.
Call the cattle buyer, calls you back later that night.
Hey, I got a load. Better than that, I got 2 loads.
So you hang the phone up, then you call the first truck back and you say,
Okay, I got you a load tonight.
and you call the second truck back and you say,
Hey, gonna have you load tomorrow morning.
Okay.
and in the meantime, you've probably had 2 or 3 other cattle buyers call you that day inquiring about, man, inquiry is the word of this episode. Anyway, you get the gist. It's a lot of boom, 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 boom. Now, I've had times before where you're kind of the nexus, the brain, the center of all this that's moving and flowing. I've had times before where I've parked where I've had no service to sleep for the night, and you get back into range the next day and you've got like 50 voicemails and just people like, trucks broke down, guys with questions, angry cattle buyers, feedlots looking for their cattle. And I'm like, wow, I'm never doing that again. So now I have to base where I can stop and sleep this time of year around where there's cell phone service. Now we run Montana, the Dakotas, Wyoming, Nebraska, Kansas, Idaho, these states that are very rural and can be very spotty on the cell service. I remember one time where I stopped and I was so tired and I wanted to go to bed, but I looked at my cell phone and I had no service, so I couldn't. I'm like, I can't stop here. So you got to soldier on for another hour till you get to a spot where you know that you can take and send phone calls and messages and whatnot to keep the old thing flowing along. So when I got an email from a marketing representative for this company, SureCall, I was a little bit interested. Now, I tried one of these about 6 or 7 years ago, okay? And it worked terribly. It was the biggest waste of money that I ever had. And it was very frustrating because those were the days where I didn't have any money. Still don't have any money. But in those days, I had even less money. See what I mean? So the way these work in a nutshell, you put an antenna on the outside of the truck. It reaches out and pulls the cell phone signals in, puts it in a little computer blaster, and then it shoots it out inside your truck and really boosts the signal in your truck for your cell phone, giving you great service. Like the old service, like you used to get with the bag phones. You guys remember the bag phones? Old Rooster had one. He gets service anywhere with that thing. Anyway, it basically turns your truck into one of those. Now, the problem I had with my old one is that the two antennas, the interior and the exterior one, would bind against each other, which creates a situation called oscillation. And that was the problem that I had. So I threw it all away and was frustrated that my $400 vanished. Anyway, so this outfit wanted to try it out. And I was like, whoa, if this works, this would be golden because it would allow me to sleep where I want to sleep, when I want to sleep. And sleep is hard to come by this time of year. But look at this. More importantly, you see that truck? You guys see that? It's the same truck. So when this showed up and I saw that it was a T660 Kenworth on the cover of their box, I was like, oh baby, this could possibly, cross your fingers, be a match made in heaven. Now, I'm going to install this thing and I'm going to see if it works. If there's one thing about truckers, and you'll laugh if you're one of these truckers, they know where all the service is. I can literally, down to the second, be like, I'm going to lose you in 10 seconds. You have 10 seconds to say what you have 5 seconds. Yep, bye-bye, gone. And you're like, okay, I'll get them back in about 20, 25 minutes. I'll be back in service. I'll call them back. We travel all these roads in these rural areas so much that we know exactly where there's service and exactly where there's not. So there's no better person, I assure you, to test this product and try this product out than old Jackie B. That's me. So I'm going to install this thing. I've got a lot of runs coming up and I'm going to keep you apprised. And I hope so bad that it works because I've started to get used to the idea of me being able to just have good service, to call, to send things. And on top of that, you guys, I need better service to be able to download footage, send it over to Matt so he can edit. And there's a lot of important reasons for this little deal. So without further ado, let's get this thing in the truck. Let's get a load of cattle and let's see how it does. Okay, she's done. Installed, lickety split, bing bang boom. Got her up there, ran it down, 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 down. Tucked her right in here underneath the truck. Put it up into the cab, through the old cubby hole here, which I need to zip tie that real quick. But that's the cord. Goes into the old sleeper. It's gonna be hard to see. Maybe not. So it comes in through here. Oh boy, that's way too dark. Anyway, comes in through the cab. I've got the controller right underneath here. The only thing I didn't like, and you're gonna hate this, there's just no other thing I could do. but I had to run the cord along the floor and just overlay it. Don't like that, but that's all I could do. So ran it up through the curtain and the interior wireless little booster blast. It's supposed to be within a few feet of your phone. So when I'm going down the road, you know, you're taking calls, your phone's here on the dash. That's about as close as we can get. Here, it's kind of, this is the zone. So hopefully that thing pushes out enough of a little signal to permeate the cab in my brain and work. But it's all green lights. See, last time the problem that I had was this little guy would interfere with the outside antenna, and they just kept interfering. And so once they interfere, it doesn't work. And I just over and over and over until I got just like, this is silly. So I threw it out. The little beef that I had, or issue that I run into, is the cords aren't long enough. They did give you an extension. The original one ran down to the bottom corner, and then they give you a 5-foot extension, which ran it into my cab. This Kenworth has an 86-inch bunk, and where I'm mounting all my stuff on the back, it's a long ways up to the cab. So that's not gonna be everybody's issue. In fact, most people are probably gonna mount on the front like this. If I didn't have dual CB antennas, I could have mounted here and run it into the cab that way. But then you'd have plenty of cords. But the way this was already pre-plumbed and not wanting an antenna on the front, wanting it in the back up high, because I don't want it. If it's on the front, it's close to, and it can interfere with that interior antenna. So I want them as far apart as possible. So anyway, we'll see. All right, y'all. I just did my first little test with it. I'm still fairly close to home, but I'll tell you, we've got 2 spots. There's one spot when you leave the ranch that on the gravel road getting down to the highway that you turn this corner and it completely cuts you. Doesn't matter if you got a flip phone, nothing. It cuts you. It just cuts you down. Made it around that corner without dropping a call. And then when you get down to the highway and head west for the first, about the first 10 miles or so, not quite, you have no service normally, like 0. Like you hit the highway, turn west, and you're gone. And I carried a call all the way up to the top of the pass, probably the first 5 miles there, and then it just the very top of the pass, it cut my call. And then as soon as I got on top of the hill, it all came right back, and I've had it ever since coming down now. So massive, like a 90% improvement over the little bit that I've driven over so far. So I'm just gonna keep you posted as we roll along here, and I'm excited about this. Hey, what do you think of the mood lights? Sha-da-da-da, sha-da-da-da. Oh yeah, looking like a little red light. Red lights are nice because you can turn them on and see dark what's going. You can find stuff on your floorboard, whatever. It doesn't blind you from the road. So that's why we run with the red lights. Red lights, nights, creates a trucker's delight. just let it soak it up. Soak it up, old girl. So just loaded cows here. We are headed to Boise, Idaho. That's where these are going. They put in a processing plant. Oh, it's been 5 or 6 years ago now over there. And a lot of cattle from this part of the country, from kind of central Montana, go to Boise now. In the past, they used to go out to Minnesota. A lot of them still go to Minnesota, of course. But before, it was like all of them went to Minnesota. Now, not as many go to Minnesota. This plant, it's still far away. It's still 600 miles away, but it's close enough that it allows a lot of these producers will get together and they'll put a load together and sell direct. So rather than, so right here we had like 4 different owners. Okay, so 4 different ranchers. They all had, you know, a handful of cows, and they got together and said, well, you know, I've got 10 cows. He's got 16 cows. Let's put them together and we'll make a load and we'll send them direct to the plant, and so they can market them directly. Otherwise, the way you get rid of your cows would be, and maybe we'll do this for an episode someday, we'll go tour the stockyards, but otherwise you'd haul your cattle to the stockyards, you'd take them in, and they would come across the ring, go through the ring rather. The buyers would look at them from a couple different places, and they will have an auction, and that's how they would market those. So anyway, this kind of on one hand, this cuts a person out, cuts out a middleman, so to speak, but at the same time, you don't get any competition. You're just accepting whatever they're paying, and that's that. So kind of positives and negatives to either way, but a lot of ranchers like to sell things directly. Most ranchers sell their calves directly. Most of them don't like to take their calves to the auction. See that sun? Oh baby, wow. Anyway, so we just got loaded up. I'm surprised, but I feel like this load is going to be incredibly legal weight, which hauling cows, that's not always the case. I came away pretty good. Got a few poo flecks, and I'll tell you one thing, you guys, just know this about me. If there's a few poo flecks on my sweater, undoubtedly there's a few poo flecks in my beard. So we weighed. We're in great shape weight-wise, no problems at all. However, when I was on the scale, I noticed I have an antifreeze leak. Pretty steady antifreeze leak. So I pulled over here, got the hood up. You're not gonna believe what it is. This is my heater line. One line runs up into the cab to heat the cab, and one line goes all the way back to my bunk, so I have heat in the bunk. And antifreeze is leaking out of here, but I also noticed it leaking out of the bottom of the heater box. So my heater core is busted up inside of this box. Inside of here, there's like basically a miniature radiator that your antifreeze goes in, and then a fan blows across it, and that's what heats your vehicle. So I shut off the supply line, but it's still leaking, which means that there's a little bit of back feeding, I think, coming up from the return line. So now we're on the hunt for a plug so I can plug off this return line and get going. Well, I was here in Great Falls. I went ahead and called Kenworth, and believe it or not, you guys, they had a new heater core in stock here. Guys like, oh, it's really expensive. I'm like, thank you for that. What's it gonna be? 380 bucks. I'm like, have you driven a semi before? Have you worked on semis? I can come away with a part for $380. I feel fairly lucky. So I'm gonna run in and grab this heater core, and then that way I'll be able to fix my rig. I'm kind of blocking the road. Be able to get my rig fixed up when I get time. Okay, so here we go. Motor power. Same place where I overpaid for my glow pin on my bunk heater. Remember that? Did you hear about that in the podcast? Anyway, I got her. We should be good. I think I'll find time to slap this in as soon as I get home. Looky there, boys, looky there. That was a DOT hanging out. Let's get out of here before he catches us, huh? this old Battle Axe Jax with the big bull rack in the back. Come on, you got your ears on. You know, y'all may want to learn. I'm going to give you a little lesson. You guys ready for this? I'm going to teach you the ways to do like an old school CB voice. But nowadays, I don't know if it was ever like this, or if it's just Hollywood that made it seem that way. Like Jerry Reed, you know, he's like the ultimate CB voice. Smokey and the Bandit, Mercy Sakes Alive. Anyway, all those songs, I don't know if people always sounded normal on CBs. Hollywood just kind of bumped it up a notch. Now it's more like, hello there, westbound, do you have a copy? Why, yes I do, Bob. Do you hear me back? So, with that in mind, I've spent some time kind of learning the old ways. Yeah, breaker, 19. This here's the Battle Axe Jax. Got the bull rack in the back. Come on. So, if you're wondering how you do that, I'm going to teach you, all right? So, I want you to now you're going to do this with me. You're going to be sitting there in front of your computer. You're going to be sitting there in your living room, you guys. You got to learn a Jerry Reed laugh. Yeah. Left arm gone, clean up to the elbow. Okay, I'm getting pretty goofy. So you wanna make an exclamation like when your face does that, like Okay, so do that. You doing it with me? Now hold it. Yeah, talk like this. So, you know, when you talk like this, your voice is kind of strange. Yeah, and then you kind of yell out. Yeah, you got it. So we do this. Yeah. Yeah, breaker, 19. This old Battle Axe Jack with the bull rack in the back. Come on. See what I'm saying? Or you could do the, let's try this one. Hey, breaker. Yeah, breaker. Excuse me. Breaker, 19. This here's Battle Axe Jax. I got the bull rack in the back. Smoke a pack a day since 74. I got the front door. Come on. There's your little guide, you guys. That's your guide to becoming a CB daddy. Here, you can put the lips up. Oh, yeah, like old Elvis used to do. Yeah, breaker. You're kind of more of a southern gentleman. Yeah, breaker, 19. This is Battle Axe Jax. I got the big bull rack in the back. You got the hammer down. The front door's wide open, son. All right, we're carrying on, you guys. On down the road. Next stop, wherever we stop. All right, y'all. I made it here, and I'm unloading. I'm doing my paperwork. This load that I have on it's a very split load, meaning that it has several different owners on it. And these guys that work the yards don't ever like that. So I come up. What you got? Told them the deal. Oh man. Blah. So I kind of explained how they'd come off. It's not as complicated as it seems. Wow. I said, you know what? I said, you're complaining a lot for a guy that didn't just drive 700 miles. Oh, no. I know. I got him. It was funny. And then, of course, he's easy going after that. But we made her. The truck run good enough. Didn't leak any more antifreeze, so that was good. I'm not supposed to really have a camera on doing, you know, recording in these places, so I'm just giving you the abbreviated version here with me and myself, my beautiful little face here out in the beautiful fluorescent light. Anyway, I gotta go. Look at this, you guys. It is a beautiful morning. There's no wind, which is rare this time of year anywhere in the West. There's no wind. Sunshine on my face. This is 2 days. If you remember the start of this video, this will be 2 days with sunshine on my face. I'm gonna take it. Look at that thing. Look at that thing up there. Oh man. So I gotta tell you what I'm up to today. There's my trailer. There's my truck. Huh? What am I up to? What's old Jax up to? So today what we have going on is that I'm getting an alignment done, not on the trailer, but on the truck. So you may recall over the course of the episodes, we've been setting this truck up, you know, overhauled transmission, rear ends, put all new tires on it here a couple weeks ago. Money. But new tires are a total waste unless you take the time to make sure that your truck is aligned properly. So I'm here at Laser Line in Twin Falls, Idaho. And they were recommended to me by a close friend of mine that has a trucking business, Raft River Sod, old Eric Webb with Raft River Sod. We go way back. So I called him up and said, hey, who can do an alignment? I'm headed to West Idaho, and I've got a little time on my way back. I'd like to get my truck aligned. In Montana, it's hard to get your truck aligned. There's places that'll do it, but it's really hard to call them a day or 2 days in advance and get your truck in. They're usually 3 or 4 days out. And especially this time of year, my schedule is such that I never know what I'm doing. So he said, call Laserline. So I called up Laserline, talked to Colt, and tell you what, you can't help but love these guys. I've never been able to watch, you know how I am, I love mechanical things, I love seeing how things work, but something that I've never been able to take part in is an alignment. So when I find a place that's pretty down home, pretty good old boy type, I love it because they'll typically let you kind of watch over their shoulder and see the process. And aligning a truck is something that I just know nothing about. I mean, I've had my trucks aligned many, many times, but it's you drop it off, they align it, you come back, pick it up, and you're on your way. So I want to kind of show you, it's pretty loud in there. I'll do my best, but I want to show you what's going on, what they found with my truck, the adjustments that they're making. And like I say, you can't help but love these guys. They're my age, they're down home. Something that really bothers me as I travel around and you go to some different places and deal with different outfits, and it's just because they're so busy, but a lot of places kind of make you feel like you're a burden. Like, sure, all right, bring it in, I guess. We'll figure it out, we'll look at it. And it's a shame because you're like, hey, I'm here to do business, you know, like you're a business and I'm here to do business. Don't make me feel like I'm a burden to be here, you know? And these guys couldn't be farther from that. They are just so like, hey man, oh! And I love it. So anyway, let me take you in here and I'll show you what's going on. Basically, we pull in the shop, and if you'll see down there, they're working on my front end right now. You'll see that. You see that tag, that white plate? That sets up against your front tires up there, okay? So they put it out there, and then they come back here with the laser, and they lay this laser board across your back axles, and it shoots a laser down there, and it'll tell you where the back axle is. It'll read on that graph down there. And then they measure the front axle, right there, the front drive axle, and they take a measurement from it. And then you cross over here to this side, and you do the same. You shoot this laser down there, and it'll give you a reading. And then you compare the two readings. You compare the two readings to each other, and that's how you decide how your axles are, like this, right? And so once they've determined what the axles are doing, then they do this next part. Check this out. This right here, this is where your suspension bolts on to your frame. This is a suspension hanger. And then this would be your spring, and the spring is attached to the axle via these big U-bolts, and this is what holds it. So when you're going down the road, this is what keeps it all together. So basically they loosen this up, and they create a little space right here, and they put, see a little plate? See that new one? They put that little shim in there, okay? So that pushes my axle back, right? And changes the alignment of the axle. So they put a little shim in there to push this axle back a touch, and then that tire, they put a shim in to push it back a touch. So then they'll take final measurements and make sure that it's aligned properly with what they like. Now they're working on the front end. All right, we're working on U-bolts now. So on the front end, it's a similar situation. The front axle needs to have a little bit of a twist. What do you call the twist again?
Caster.
Caster, okay. So you've heard that term before. Caster's just a little bit of tweak in the axle, just a little twist. So this axle they measured and found it to be flat. So it needs some caster put into it. So we have this shim right here, and they're gonna put this in. It's slightly wedged. See, it's a little bigger on that side than the front. They're gonna wedge that in, and that'll give it just a slight little caster, and that'll help this front end get back the way it's supposed to be. This guy's very strong. We were working on these back suspension bolts, and they would not break loose. And he gets a little bigger breaker and just leans into it, and it's like, pop, nut just came right off. I said, man, I wish I had that kind of leverage. He got a kick out of it. But anyway, that's kind of the outside workaround. Excited to do this, excited to see how it goes, but really enjoying these guys at Laserline. Having a good time this morning. All right, so there it is. Big dog is gonna tighten her down and we'll see what's shaking. How's she looking?
I'm about to find out. Zeroed on this side. 0.4, perfect. That'd be the bottom. Never.
Oh, 0.4.
To textbook caster measurement is 0.4 to 0.7 degrees.
Okay, so good. Sweet. All right, so this is the laser bar I was talking about. He's gonna shoot it down, then you see the green laser there on the tube? That's the measurement. Let me go around and do the other side now. Same deal.
Oh!
Come on, man!
Yikes! It's okay, it's perfect. I didn't know, we already knew it was perfect, man. I know who aligned it.
About back to the freeway so we can check out this alignment and see how things feel. For now, I'm pulling a little trick out of the old book I haven't used in many a year. Because the weather's so nice, and I'm kind of in a hurry now, with some things to do at home. Put a little water in the old belly. So what you do, you put a little water in the belly, you get all your traps closed up nice and tight, and they're sealed with old manure so they won't leak on the road. Then you let this water slosh back and forth all day. And when I get home, I can go find a nice little spot that needs a little fertilizer. And just give it a little liquid wonder. That's all organic, by the way. All right, y'all. Cruising down the road on a pretty nice, this is a pretty fresh stretch of old, what is this, 84, I-84. Pretty fresh little stretch. We'll get around this corner. When I say fresh, I mean that the crown is, I think I'm past the brand new piece, but the crown is fairly proper still. This freeway gets so much truck traffic. Oh, no, never mind, there's a bad spot. It gets so much truck traffic on it that the road dishes out quite a bit, and it can kind of autopilot you down the road, so to speak, kind of ping pong you between within the ruts, the little ruts that are made on each side of the road. But I don't feel too much breeze yet. I want to kind of give you an idea of this alignment. They did, of course, they adjusted all 3 axles. Reason alignments are so important is because you spend thousands, literally thousands. I think all in between my steers and drive tires, I'm around $6,000 for a set of tires. And so you need to keep your truck properly aligned because it's a lot of money you just invested in a disposable product. So anyway, so here we are, here we're going. Before this truck, let me zoom out just a tick. Before this truck, I was having to pull all day, pulling down on the steering wheel. You know, and when I drive, I get this weird knot behind my left shoulder blade. I haven't felt it yet today. Granted, I'm only 100 and some miles down the road. But anyway, it would pretty quickly veer off to the right. So now I let go of the wheel. It takes a fair little bit. Now I'm going to grab it. So you know, you got 3-4 seconds there. Roads are crowned naturally, so maybe a good little alternate test here will be, I'm in the left lane. You can really feel it now in the left lane. It's curved to the left. The road is slanted rather. So I let off the wheel. Now I'm driving off the left side of the road. Did you see that? Traffic behind me is probably like, what? I'm gonna get back in the slow lane. So there's the test. The right lane, get about 3 seconds and it drives me off the right side of the road. The left lane, I get about 3 seconds and I drive off the left side of the road. So that tells me that bad driver. So that tells me that this alignment is very successful, okay? So I'm pumped. I'm glad. I love when you spend money on something. 420 bucks, I think, for a full 3-axle alignment. And again, all the axles had to be adjusted. Had they not adjusted them, I'm sure it would have been even cheaper than that. But there was a sledgehammer on the road. Somebody's gonna get lucky there. You guys need an alignment done? Hit up Colt. Colt and Chris. Chris was the muscle. Colt was the smaller muscle. If you need an alignment, you're around the area, if you're cruising through on 84, hit them up. Just down home as can be. I feel like that was a really true test, switching lanes there like we did and falling off the left side of the road, falling off the right side of the road. My favorite thing now is I can just rest my left hand on the steering wheel and just rest it there. I don't have to pull on the wheel, I can just rest it. Just the weight of my arm holding the wheel, resting on the wheel, keeps me going down the road properly. So anyhow, that's the update, you guys. I'm pretty happy about this alignment. I feel good. I put Michelin steer tires on this truck, and they are not cheap. They were $630 a piece. So we may as well keep them shipshape. I just can't take it in. I can't drive behind this guy anymore. It's giving me too much like, I know a few guys out there that are tarping professionals. Granted, this guy's, I'm not sure what's going on here, but I can't watch it anymore behind me. It is visually impairing me. I can't. It's messing with my head. So he's probably driving faster than I like to, but I got to get in front of him. I tried for a few miles and I was like, I can't. It's like hypnotizing me and giving me strange feelings of how a tarp should not be. I made it home last night late. I was gonna kind of shoot this outro and get you all clued in on how everything landed, but it was dark and I was tired, so I decided to just get up and do it this morning. And it got a little chilly last night, hence the cap on my head. So the antenna, see it up there, you guys? There's two things that I want to share with you that turned out neat. Okay, one is about that booster and the other one is about the alignment that I did. So when I was driving down with those cattle, I was getting this knot behind my left shoulder blade that was just killing me, to where I had to like take aspirin or Tylenol or ibuprofen or whatever. I know I just threw out like 3 different medications. Ibuprofen, that's what I took, just to get the dull to go away. And then by the next morning, the pain was gone. I aligned my truck and drove home, and I've got no pain behind my shoulder blade. So what I'm thinking is that having to pull on that steering wheel, you know, I mentioned it yesterday that maybe there was something to that, but after driving the 600 whatever plus miles home, I have no pain behind my shoulder blade because I'm not pulling. You don't realize it's not like I'm like like pulling on the steering wheel like a rabid dog. I'm not doing that. It's just a slight pull for hours and hours and hours, and after a while it apparently takes a toll on me. So I have no pain because the alignment is straight. I did one final test on the alignment. I got on a long stretch of road where there was no cars, and I straddled the center line. So I had an even pull to the left and an even pull to the right, and the truck just rode the center line. So I'm really happy about that. Here's the other thing. I'm gonna give you my final analysis on the cell booster. If you're somebody that travels a lot, like I mentioned at the beginning of this video, I'm gonna go ahead and give this SureCall cell booster my recommendation, because here's what it did. It basically, if there's spots out there where it's like hard stop, end of the line, no service, this is not going to magically give you service where you had no service. If there's no coverage, there's no coverage. But what this did, and this is what was really great and very helpful to me, is that you get to spots where, you know, you'll open your phone, you'll look to try to make a call, and you have a bar, but it won't make a call. You can text, you know what I'm talking about? You're like, well, I can send a text out, but I can't make a call. It essentially has turned, on the routes that I was on, it turned those text-only zones, which isn't very helpful when you're trucking, right? You're like, well, that's great, I can send text messages. Well, that's not advisable. So it took those previously text-only zones and boosted them into call zones. So that's great, because anyone that I can call versus having to try to message and worry about that, that's a huge win, okay? So that's what I loved about this. I tried several places. I monitored it four or five different places where I know I have text-only service, and it holds you through. It holds your calls. You might, in the real bad, splotchy areas, it just holds you right on through. I'm gonna put a link in the description. If you can use them, hit that link, go check them out, get your rig hooked up, and I think that you'll be very happy that you did. You guys, I'll be good, you be good, we'll all be better for it. Till next time, party on.